What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Crew 2. It really is insane to me that this is actually going to be the last update here on this game, at least before Motorfest does release. Obviously, this is Season 9 here, Episode 1, but one thing I did notice though, as you guys will notice when looking at this Motor Pass, it does say ends in 69 days, which if you do calculate that from when this does release here on July 5th, it looks like it's going to go up until September 11th, which obviously Motorfest does release 3 days early, at least depending on the one you guys do want to get. But nonetheless, though, guys, jumping right into this Motor Pass here. So for these seasonal challenges, it is going to be based on followers once again. So if you were wondering, all you actually have to do to max out the challenges every single week is to basically complete the summit, and that will get you the 20,000 followers, or you can basically do like 2 hyper races or something and then be maxed out. So luckily, guys, if you were to miss like most of this motor pass and you did decide to want to level this thing up, you could most likely do this at like the end of this season before Motorfest does release. Because leveling up the motor pass now is going to be insanely easy, especially because the main challenges are only going to be followers. I would also recommend getting the $4 million pass as well, mainly guys because for one, your money's obviously not going to transfer over to Motorfest, and going after all the vehicles in this Motor Pass I would say is going to be worth it. But do keep in mind though, because this is like the last season or Season 9 of the Crew 2, you guys will not actually see these cars in Motorfest until the second season of the Crew Motorfest, which I do believe is going to be like the second week or so of December, but at least you actually can move these vehicles over, at least when you actually get them. But nonetheless, guys, jumping right into this here right now. So the first car is going to be the Bugatti Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus Divine Edition. So I would also guess I'm not going to be the only person that went, oh my gosh, another Bugatti. Nonetheless, though, guys, I have to admit this car really does look awesome, though. I really do love those white rims. Those fit this car so insanely well. You're also going to notice a crazy body kit on this car and that like half wing in the back. I will also be comparing this to the regular 300, so definitely stay tuned for the video on all of the vehicles in these motor passes, but I do feel like a lot of players are going to like it. I really guess you cannot go wrong with any Bugatti, especially on the Crew 2. But moving over to the next item, guys, is going to be the Ocean Spirit Smoke. And seeing many of the smokes in the Crew 2, I'm actually really liking this one over some of the other ones. That could also be because of the sharks, but seeing this on some of the drift cars actually might look pretty awesome. But moving over to the next item, the Ocean Spirit tire is obviously going to be based on, well, the ocean. You can also see like the blue on the tire, so that would probably look pretty dang cool having the sharks come out of that because of the tire being blue. But moving over to the next one, guys, the Ocean Spirit Nitro. Then moving over to the Surf Underglow. That's actually pretty awesome, especially on a motorcycle. Then moving over to the Surf Rooftop. Then we're going to have 20,000 crew credits. Then we'll have the one of two, which is going to be a Street Racing Fame Magnet set. And to be honest, guys, I really would say this is going to be one of the better sets, especially if you like grinding money and/or followers. And of course, having Motorfest right around the corner, I do think a set like this is very useful. That way you can actually grind out money in one of your favorite street cars, and then buy as many cars as you possibly can, at least until Motorfest does release, and that way you can at least collect a lot of those. But moving over to the next thing is a horn. Then we're going to have a Bucks pack. Then we'll have the Surf tire. That looks very odd, I do think. What in the world am I looking at? Then we're going to have the Water Splash Nitro. That's actually pretty awesome. Then we'll have another 2,000 crew credits. Then we're going to have 50,000 bucks. And then moving over to level 13, the Ford Mustang Boss 429 Lime Edition. I really do love the fact we're actually getting like an old muscle car that's getting some love. You're also going to see a pretty awesome looking body kit on this no. You will also see a pretty awesome looking body kit on this car, which I really do think actually looks insanely unique, and it most likely is not going to be on the regular Boss 429. You're also going to notice two of the exhausts coming out of the bottom there, and obviously one on the top end, or three coming out of the bottom, and the car having two exit exhausts. But nonetheless, though, I really do love seeing these old muscle cars actually get some love on here. I really do think a lot of players are going to love that. But moving over to the next thing, the Tasty Shrimps rooftop. And then moving over to the next item is going to be the Tasty Shrimps Underglow. Then we're going to have the Sunset Tint, which definitely does not fit this car that I'm using. Then we're going to have the 2000 Crew Credits and or the Sunset Trail Smoke. Then we'll have the Sunset Tire. That one actually looks kind of cool. And then after the tires, we're also going to have another 50,000 bucks. And then what I would say is probably one of the weirdest Halloween decorations ever. I really think this is going to look insanely odd on basically every vehicle, but moving over to the next item, guys, you will basically get 1.5 levels, and that will then basically get you the next 2,000 crew credits. Then we're going to have the bird horn. And then moving over to the next item is going to be another 50,000 bucks. And then moving over to the next item is going to be the Tiki Underglow. And then at level 25, guys, the Chevrolet Camaro RS Ghost Edition. I really do have to give them credit so far. Out of the 3 vehicles I have seen in this Motor Pass, I would actually say all 3 of them are definitely going to be worth getting, especially because you can transfer these over to Motorfest later on, so at least you're going to be able to increase your collection. And the odds of a lot of these cars actually coming back are most likely going to be insanely low, and or if they actually do, it's probably going to be insanely far down the road. But moving over to level 26 is the Tiki Tire. That also looks insanely weird when spinning. And then moving over to the next item is going to be 5,000 crew credits. Then we're going to have a horn and or 50,000 bucks. And then moving over to level 30, guys, the Retro Backfire Nitro. That actually looks pretty awesome. Then we're going to have 1.5 levels and or the lovely vintage helmet. And then moving over to the next item is the 2,000 crew credits. Then we're going to have the 50,000 bucks. And then moving over to level 35 is going to be the second part of that Fame Magnet set for the street category. I really would recommend going after this, especially if you guys like grinding out races in the street class. But moving over to the next item is going to be the Dusk Tint. And then moving over to level 37 is also going to be the one free car in this Motor Pass as well, and most likely everybody's favorite on top of that, but the Nissan GTR Haru Edition, I do think I'm most likely butchering that, but this thing is also going to look like a Liberty Walk body kit on this GTR. I really do think this car actually looks insane. You can also see like the purple exhaust tips. And of course, when looking at this car, I would probably say the first thing many players are going to notice is going to be that body kit, which of course is going to resemble a Liberty Walk insanely hard. So it also makes me really excited because that Mark V Supra, at least on Motorfest, is also going to have a Liberty Walk kit. So it really is going to be crazy to think, guys, some of the kits we actually might get on Motorfest and or some of the crazy cars we actually might see in the future. But moving over to level 38, you're going to have 2,000 crew credits. Then we'll have ourselves the Celebration Smoke. Then the Pink Stardust Nitro. And then moving over to level 41 is going to be another 50,000 bucks, which to be honest I do think is actually going to be useful, especially trying to collect as many cars as you can. And then moving over to level 42, the Hula Rooftop. Then we're going to have 5,000 crew credits and or 1.5 levels. Then we're going to have the Pacific Flower Tire, which I would say it legitimately looks like someone actually strapped that onto the tire, which going back into this they actually did. And then moving over to level 47, a Loot Digger Monster Truck set, which to be honest is actually pretty useful. I do feel like leveling up these monster trucks is probably not going to be the funnest experience. If you guys did have this on your vehicle, I would recommend doing the Wreck and Havoc in Miami. You can easily max out the trucks insanely fast over there, but moving over to level 48 is going to be the Lap Steel Horn. Then we'll have the Pacific Flower Smoke. Then we're going to have the Pacific Flower Underglow. And then finally, guys, at level 50, the Relaxed Summer Outfit. But overall, guys, I have to admit, I do actually find this Motor Pass to be insanely good, especially the cars like the Nissan GTR. I really do feel like a lot of players are by far going to be grabbing this Motor Pass, mainly because Motorfest is close by, and that way you actually will be able to move these vehicles over in like Season 2. At least you actually will have more cars you can collect and or have on Motorfest, which so far is going to be insane considering there's already over 600. And I do feel like a lot of players are going to want to have as many cars as possible because you really can never have enough cars in a racing game. So being able to collect as many as possible, I do feel like a lot of players are going to want to do it. But overall, guys, I would like to know your thoughts on this season pass in the comments below. And one thing I also do want to mention, definitely stay tuned for the stories. I will be going over all of these in the coming days, so definitely stay tuned for those. I will also be posting the summit later today as well, so definitely stay tuned for that. I really do have to admit, guys, so far the last season of the Crew 2 is looking pretty awesome.